Hi everyone, and welcome to the Last Live Club podcast. This is our Nintendo Switch Soundbite episode where we're going to focus on the Nintendo Switch presentation that happened at the early hours of Friday morning. So that was at 4 a.m. while we were all tucked up in bed. I was up watching it, slaving over the website. Today I'm joined by everyone's favourite boycons. That's a joke.
Sure sounded like one.
Today with me I have Gary,
Hey.
Jack,
Hey,
and Craig.
Hello.
And I'm Oliver, of course. We're not going to mess around today. We're just going to go straight into the games that we saw at the presentation, not in chronological order. This is just a list that I found on the internet. So we're going to start with Super Mario Odyssey. Does anyone want to take that away? Maybe Gary?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's nice to see them showing a new Mario game. I mean, we all thought it would happen, but it's been a while since Galaxy, so it's nice. All sorts of different environments. The kind of core concept is that you have a hat with eyes, because obviously you do, and then you can use that for extra kind of abilities, whether it be throwing it to attack, throwing it to use it as a platform to hop up, and then just I'm sure they're gonna work in so many different ways in it. But there's like these little shops as well with different hat things. But you've got your kind of big airship flying around in all sorts of different locales. One of which looked very similar to New York City, but was called New Donk City because obviously. And if we don't see Donkey Kong at the top of a skyscraper chucking down barrels, then that would be a massive disappointment. And then there was like one of them looked a bit like the old Super Mario Land game on the Game Boy with like pyramids and stuff like that. It appeared to have like a day-night schedule as well, which was pretty cool because we saw like nighttime versions of other things. And yeah, it just looked quite varied, quite colourful, and very much the same kind of vein as Super Mario Sunshines and Super Mario 64s of this world, that kind of classic 3D Mario platformer. But yeah, I mean, I thought it looked promising. We haven't really seen enough, obviously, but it looked like a good Mario experience. So yeah, just waiting to see more. Like, what do you guys think of it?
I think it's going to be more like Mario Galaxy because the ship is going to be like your hub.
Mm.
You know, like Mario Galaxy 2 where you fly around a map.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit where it's that New Donk City, and like one of the things is like there was like a black area with like one of those level clearing flags. So that looked like a level entrance, and that was in the New Donk City kind of environment. So maybe you get different like smaller hub worlds and stuff like that. Because some of the aerial shots showed like smaller sections of the city, as if maybe one of them was like the level and then one of them was the hub world. So maybe we get different hub worlds and maybe we traverse through them with our ship. Be exciting to see, really.
I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I mean, overall, the whole Nintendo Switch thing. When the console was first showed, I was like, "Oh wow, that looks awesome! I'm gonna buy that day one." I'm still interested in the console, but the roster of now I've seen this update, I've gone to I'll probably buy it next Christmas maybe when there's a few more games out because the games didn't really catch me. And Mario Odyssey was, I mean, it does look really cool, and I'm being overly negative about it, but generally it kind of it felt closer to Super Mario 3D Land games that we've had on the Wii U rather than closer to Super Mario Galaxy for me. Just something, I don't know, something about it all looked a little bit unsettling. I don't really know why. I kind of just went, him running around New York was cool, but I went, okay. Yeah. Him running around what looked like the Ewok jungle forest area made me kind of go, that looks a bit strange as well. But I mean, it's going to be a really good game, but I don't know. It feels a bit kind of. It doesn't seem to have that. It didn't make me. When I first saw the Mario Galaxy trailer, I went, "Whoa, that's awesome." When I saw Mario Odyssey, I kind of went, "Oh, he's got a hat now." So I don't know. It just didn't, it still looks like it's going to be an awesome game, but it didn't. It doesn't look like it's going to be. It feels like it's going to be more like a Sunshine rather than a Galaxy.
Yeah, I think it kind of looks like those. When you see the people that remake Mario in Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
And it's also, I mean, it might be quite early days for. I mean, it's meant to be coming out fall, like the Christmas basically. So it's still like 9-10 months away from being finished. There's probably a hell of a lot more to it to see. But yeah, I don't know. Everything just seemed a bit weird. Even the weird kind of Mexican land, which was covered in ice, was a bit strange. And then he's riding on the back of a sand shark, such like lion thing, and I was like, it's all a bit weird.
Yeah. But I mean, it's no different to 3D World's cat seat, though. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to be an awesome game, but something about it at the moment made me kind of go, "Huh, okay."
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. It is quite odd looking. I think those running desert things are from Super Mario Land.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's going to go around to loads of different types of games. I don't know. Anyway, Craig, what did you think?
So yeah, I was sort of saying I wasn't blown away by it. It gave me horrible flashbacks to that sort of when Sonic the Hedgehog went into the real world, and I was not entirely convinced. And the hat with the eyes, I mean, like I said, it's bad enough that the Pokédex has eyes and a personality now in Pokemon. Why do they need to put eyes and give everything? I don't know. No, not for me. I mean, it'll be good.
No.
It's even the bad Mario games are still better than your average platformer, so it's not going to be a disaster. But I'm not. I wasn't blown away. It wasn't like, oh my god, that's a console seller for me.
Yeah, they've set the bar too high with like Mario Galaxy, I think.
But it's going to be a recurring theme today. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I wasn't massively blown away by the whole thing. So it's going to be a recurring theme. I was underwhelmed, but yeah, it's 9 months away, so we'll see what happens with it.
So is anyone actually for it? Like, is anyone actually like excited about the Switch now?
I mean, I was like, when they first showed the console back in October, I was like, that looks awesome. I'm in. That looks really interesting. And I'm still interested in a lot in how the console works. And I've read a lot of people, and I've spoken to people who have used it and gone, it's actually very, very comfortable. It's really nice. It's just the games. Like, it was just, there was nothing. Well, not nothing, but there was just not enough for me to go, well, that's a day one purchase. Like, bigging up Skyrim. And I was like, ooh, finally get to play Skyrim. Like, oh, all these years I've been waiting for Skyrim. And, yeah, just even, like, I mean, if it wasn't for Breath of the Wild, which we'll probably talk about in a bit, it would have been a disastrous like lineup of games, basically.
I mean, I am excited. I'm excited for like October when I actually buy one. Like, I'm not going to buy one in March. Like, there's no way because there's nothing I want. But like in October sort of time, I'm going to be like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to the Mario Odyssey Christmas pack that they make, because I don't think I'll be getting it prior to that, because I keep forgetting that Zelda comes out on the Wii U. So as promising as Zelda is, I don't need a Switch for it. So
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm less excited now than I was before, which probably is not a glowing indication of a great launch. Yeah, I was waiting to be. I think the teaser like a couple of months ago was like, great. Yeah, what's this going to be? This is going to be like, something really, really like it's going to put Nintendo back on the map. But actually, I'm less convinced now that it actually is. It's just them further going off down their own little path. They're completely like playing their own game now, and it's just left me feeling a bit. I've still obviously pre-ordered it because it's sold out on Amazon already, and I obviously got my pre-order in just in case. But
obviously,
I'm gonna criticize it to high hell and then buy it anyway. But yeah, I'm like, am I actually gonna buy this on day one? Not convinced at the moment.
Right, okay, well, let's just go through the games. We've got a lot to go through, but I thought we would be more excited than this. So I'm just going to go through them, and then if anyone wants to say anything, obviously just stop me. So next up, we have Splatoon 2.
I mean, I'm excited for this because I really enjoyed Splatoon 1, but it didn't look hugely different, so that was the kind of thing that worried me. Like, it had some kind of new different model stuff, and they didn't really show a huge amount of gameplay. We've got new weapons and, just little kind of side steps here and there, it felt like, rather than like an evolution of it. But I did like Splatoon, and if I had a Switch, I know that I'd get Splatoon 2. But yeah, it had that kind of rush feel of, here's another game that we've got, which we've, spruced up, and here's the next one. But yeah. I didn't know whether it would be Splatoon Deluxe like they've done with Mario Kart, or just Splatoon 2. So I'm quite surprised they were called 2.
It looks like a deluxe, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. There could be loads of new stuff in there. I wonder if they're going to carry on with the single player, if they're just going to axe that.
Yeah, I mean, people love the multiplayer, and they love the way that they added things here and there and had little events. So the fun is definitely with the multiplayer, and it's definitely with the continued support. And if they can replicate that, then I'm sure that the same people who are on board with the first one will be on board with the second one. But yeah, it's a strange one, really.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess neither of you guys played Splatoon.
So I loved it, and I thought I'm pretty excited. I think Splatoon 2, yeah. I can see why they've done a sequel rather than a deluxe, because I think it's one of those games that actually you don't need to do a massive evolution of it. You just need to throw in some new maps and a couple of new weapons, and isn't that what a lot of kind of third-person shooters do every year anyway? So I wasn't surprised it was a sequel, even though it doesn't look to be a massive evolution of it. But yeah, I watched the trailer and I was like, actually, yeah, it looks fun, but it doesn't look. I could just have that fun with the current game. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I need to buy a Switch to to play that, but I watched the trailer and I thought actually it reminded me how much fun it actually is to play.
Yeah, very much I'm the same. Like, not a killer app, but certainly a pleasant thing to have if I had a Switch.
It
Yeah.
looks cool to me, and just another factor we're probably going to talk about later, but another factor into it though that I can't help but think about is like looking at Games website. They're currently selling it for 60 quid.
Oh, I know, right?
Mate,
And
that's not gonna
it's
stick.
going to be coming out in like July, and like 60 quid's a lot of money. I could buy 2 copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 for that amount. So it's a bit like I just think like, yeah, it looks awesome. Then I think 60 quid. I mean, and we're going to talk about these games later, but even like ARMS, which just looks kind of weird and kind of cool, but okay, sure. That's 50 quid. That's going
Really?
for order at the moment. Yeah. I mean, they've announced in America that the Street Fighter Ultra HD Super Mega Mix, whatever, that's going to be $40, so like 35 quid, 30 quid.
Man.
So, I mean, all launch titles are pretty crazy expensive. I remember the Xbox One had like insane prices, but
Yeah.
it's just, it adds that extra kind of like, oh, that's a lot of money for that game, actually. I don't think I want it that much. I mean, Skyrim currently on game is pre-order for 60 quid on Nintendo
Man, those
Switch.
prices aren't going to stick. They're just.
No, they're probably not.
Yeah.
These are probably for people that are just going nuts, going, oh my god, I need everything. But still, it's, I wouldn't be surprised if on day one it's 60 quid, and then 2 weeks later it drops to 40.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that actually perfectly leads into the next game, which is ARMS. So I think this game looks kind of fun, but it looks like, oh, it's going to sound bad, but it looks like part of a party pack or something. It doesn't look like its own.
I got like interested in it. I was like, oh, this looks cool. I mean, the video trailer's a bit weird when it's like a grown man beating up a schoolgirl, but it was pretty cool. And I kind of went, this is a bit interesting and a bit odd. The only thing that then ruined it for me, if you watch the trailer, it's kind of building up, and it just ends with the name of the game, ARMS. And I was like, that is a terrible name for this game.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping for some really crazy Japanese, like extreme extended arms fighting or something, but it's just called ARMS. Which is just, I mean, I'm sure it's like an acronym for something, but that just sounds, the name really made me burst out laughing. I was like, good God.
Yeah, and like I watched a little thing talking about how that it's kind of controlled, and you have like you split the Joy-Con thing, so you got one in each hand, and then you press a button at the top. But apparently, it's really uncomfortable because of the size of it. If you've got like fairly normal size hands or bigger, you're going to be wrapping your hands around it, so you're going to be like mashing over buttons, and even though you're not pressing them, it's super uncomfortable, and then you're going to have to like punch forward and move with that. So yeah, in terms of the usability, the videos that I was watching, they weren't too fond of the way that it controlled either.
Yeah, and the presentation on stage was really shit, wasn't it? When he was like, this is 2 people playing that don't know how to play, and he's like, now here's 2 people playing that are staff members, and it just looked the same, like, like it's just arms flying everywhere. Like, yeah, no, I wasn't into it. Craig, what did you see that?
Yeah, so I looked the same. I thought it looked quite. I was watching the trailer and waiting for something else to happen, thinking, yeah, this is like, and I sort of I was watching it and thinking, actually, it seems like a massive backward step because I kind of feel like we're sort of over motion controls, and it looks like the sort of fighter I'd probably play with a controller, but I'm not sure that I'd be want to wave my hands around. That was like a decade ago now, and we were all like, oh, this is amazing. You can play tennis by wagging the Wiimote, and I sort of feel like we've gone on from there, and it's like controllers are perfectly fine for what they are. So I was a bit like, it feels like they're trying to replicate the Wii, like the novelty of the Wii, but the novelty of the Wii isn't a novelty anymore. It's we've gone beyond that. So
just hanging on to that dream.
I'd rather play a game about the characters in arms, but just trying to do everyday things with their arms. Like trying to hug, trying to do the shopping, like having to stand 4 aisles away in like Sainsbury's trying to reach for the grapes and stuff. Because it just, like, I looked at it and thought, are those robot arms? Oh no, those are their actual arms. It's like, how do they brush their teeth?
That's the deluxe edition next to
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see real life arms.
I think like the graphics were good, but like I think this is going to be what we're going to be seeing out of Nintendo from now on. Like if you look at Splatoon and you look at ARMS, like visually they're quite similar.
Yeah.
Like the style, the colours and that, like it's all very stylized. Kind of looks a bit like Jet Set Radio. And we also have entirely new Nintendo staff. Like everyone on the stage, I think was like the first time they've ever been on stage, if not one of the first times.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the new Nintendo. We could be looking at a lot more things like ARMS in the future. I don't know. Speculation. I've got no idea.
I think the problem is they obviously need some new franchises, but even the Splatoon, the characters aren't the most recognizable. You wouldn't go, oh my god, that's a really recognizable character, and like Armor, he's right. It's like quite a generic style, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really lend itself to them sort of
Yeah,
merchandising and being like, oh yeah, that's that character from Arms, unless they make
Yeah, yeah.
unless they make toys, and next Christmas everyone's got these huge toys with stretchy arms.
That'd make a good toy, though. That would make a really good toy. They won't do that, but that would make a good toy.
It's like the Rock'em Sock'em robots, but they're like on the other side of the table from each other, like punching.
Yeah. Kids' eyes going everywhere. Right, okay, let's move on. Next up, we have 1-2-Switch, which was the party game, which is notable for one particular game that I've heard a lot about, which is Milk.
Yeah.
The milking game.
Explain it. What happens?
Yeah.
Right, so you have cow udders on the screen, and then you use your little Joy-Cons as udders, and you milk it. But you can fit, because of the HD vibration, you can feel the udder. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But like you can feel, they say, you can feel the udder inside the.
God.
What, as in, like, as you're squeezing it, the vibration is going down the Joy-Con.
Yeah, like it feels
so
like
it's
you're
like
holding an udder.
I kind of really want to play it. I won't lie.
Yeah,
That
was-
sounds awesome.
That was the only notable thing from the whole game, because the rest of it's obviously that stupid cowboy thing that went on for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And ball counter, where you just tip the controller and count how many balls are inside. Well, we'll come on to HD vibration later on. So
1-2-Switch though, I was about to kind of like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is useless, it's rubbish. But this is where kind of Nintendo always kind of surprised me, because this could turn out to be one of these like crazy million-selling games. Like I remember when I looked at like Wii Fit, and I was like, that's ridiculous. No one's going to buy that. And it just then it sells like wildfire. And these are the ones that always kind of surprise me that people get really into. Like Just Dance. When I first saw Just Dance, and I was like, what? So you can't even recognize your motion. It's just kind of you're just playing along. I was like, never going to sell, and it sold millions. So I wouldn't be surprised if 1-2-Switch ends up being something that's like, oh wow, this sold 1 million consoles.
yeah, should have been a pack-in though.
I was going to say, I think that something like that needs to be a pack-in title. I think, like looking at it, it would annoy me if it did become a massive seller, because it looks like WarioWare, just without Wario on it.
Yeah.
And I think those games are actually really fun, but they never seem to have ever quite got that killer, that's kind of been the killer app that actually they have the potential to be. So
Yeah,
I'd be annoyed if that they've taken all the character out of it and then it sells loads.
Yeah, because they've got no pack-in as well either, and that seems so perfect, because they always like to do something which kind of shows off the hardware, whether it be Nintendo Land using the screen or Wii Sports, but they kind of got nothing now in the box, and then they've got this 1-2-Switch which would seem perfect.
That's because
Yeah.
if they put a pack-in game, they'd have even less launch titles. But I'm sure we'll get onto that in a.
Yeah.
Because I'm here with my list of totals of launch titles.
Oh, that's good. So we'll come to that. That's good.
This for me though, the 1-2-Switch is a weird one, because it's in a weird way it's a step back in the right direction for Nintendo compared to like Wii Sports with the Wii one really well, and then I think they missed the mark with Nintendo Land. It veered way too much back into kind of not hardcore gaming but regular sort of gaming, and 1-2-Switch is bringing it back into kind of core easy to pick up playing, which I prefer. That's exactly what 1-2-Switch should do. It should demonstrate what the console is capable of.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm positive. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to pay 40 quid for it 'cause it's ridiculous. I'll wait for it when it's a tenner. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with 1-2-Switch.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, okay, I'm going to move on now. Next up, we have Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which is a port of Dragon Quest Heroes, currently on Xbox One and PS4. I've played the first one, it's pretty good. Not really much more to say about that. It's like an Dynasty Warriors type game. That's it. Okay, so next up is Xenoblade. I think it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
I might have the title wrong.
I
No,
believe
it was.
that's the
Yeah,
case.
it was.
Only that I know Xenoblade Chronicles, everyone went crazy for it. It's one of those games all these years I feel like people have gone, it's so good. And I go, yeah, I'm sure it is incredible, but I've just never played it. I've never come round to going, oh, I'm really up to some Xenoblade Chronicles. It's not my cup of tea. But I'm sure there are people who are extremely excited to see Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's probably not the market Nintendo are actually really going for, or they want to make all their money out of, but it's good to see they're making it at least. When's it out? It's not a launch title, is it? It's like...
I have no idea.
It's not. I think it might be out in Japan later this year, but it's got to be.
Yeah, just looking at they've just put it as 2017, that's all. No date.
Yeah.
I actually missed one off the list, but I'll throw it in as well, is the Shin Megami Tensei 25th anniversary. They didn't really show anything, but they did show it, so I thought I should mention it. Okay, so next up we also have Project Octopath Traveler, which was the 16-bit 3D Square Enix game by the what was it called, Bravely Default team.
Oh, right. I didn't know it was made by them. I mean, Brave Default has a lot of love for it, and it looked yet again in that kind of traditional RPG style. So yeah, man, classic Mario RPGs in the style of like Final Fantasy on the SNES. It's going to appeal to some people, and I'm glad that it exists. But they didn't really show enough of it to kind of get excited.
It looks cool.
It looks really pretty though. That Silvio will say. I thought it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, same. Surprised no one's done that before. That style.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Cool. All right, am I good to move on?
Yeah.
Move on. Right, so Skyrim, everyone's favourite game from 5 years ago.
I've been waiting years. My God, I've been waiting so long for Skyrim. How am I ever going to play it? Just torture. They keep dragging this out. Oh.
So yeah, I think that's. Also, interestingly, it's the remastered version, not the original version. Just so there's a bit of information there.
I was still surprised when they announced it in October, and even now that people are excited about Skyrim on Switch, because apart from the fact you can bring it around with you and play for 2 hours because that'll be the battery life, I don't understand why people are excited about it. I could literally go and play Skyrim now. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I've played it before and I wasn't really into it, so I'm not really the right market. But
they've literally just done a HD remaster or whatever you call it on Xbox One and PS4. So I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And it's the fact that Nintendo are pushing it so hard as well, like to have that Todd Howard within their presentation being like, "Hey, we finally got Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch. You know, we love to work with Nintendo," and it just feels like that's cool, I suppose. But it's weird that you're making such a big deal of this.
Yeah, that guy was a total charisma sponge as well, wasn't he? Like, guy, he's just sucking the life out of me.
I don't quite understand how it's not going to be ready for launch. That's the thing that like it's not. How is it not ready? It's like he's like. If you're gonna launch it day one, because it must be like they must have had loads of time to work on it. It's pretty much ready to go. So why?
My guess would be with Inside Bethesda, there's like 2 guys in the corner who drew the short straw. It's like, hey guys, we're all working on the next one. Can you just kind of quickly port this to like mobile devices and stuff like that? And they're like, oh, what? So they're just sitting there, and I've seen it at Game Studios before. There's probably literally just 2 guys, 1 QA, maybe a programmer, just sitting there doing the port on their own, and they're working with some dodgy ass development kit the Nintendo Switch have sent over, where it doesn't even have a cable, and they're just on their own trying to ship this.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll let them off.
Yeah. It's like, what do you buy, Bob and Brad? Well done, guys.
There's probably some legal thing that Nintendo and Bethesda had some weird contract where they had to like agree to do 4 games on their console or something, and they've just gone, oh crap, we need to do something. Just ship Skyrim again.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. Okay, so next up we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So slightly better than the previous version.
This one really annoyed me because Mario Kart 8 is an incredible game. I've got it. I spent 40 quid on a game. I spent about 20 quid on DLC, and now they're asking me to buy it again to get battle mode. And they better come up with some damn way that they can recognize my gamer tag and be like, oh, if you've already played Mario Kart 8 or you've completed it, or something to say you could buy the new one for 20 quid. If it's literally just no, you got to buy it again for 45 quid, I'll be really pissed off.
It won't be that. It'll be like you get a Mario Kart themed hat or something.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. Well, I mean, they're gonna. I mean, it's no different to when you buy a game on PS3 and then it gets remastered on PS4.
I guess, I mean, maybe I'm probably most annoyed because the battle mode was something that I felt like should have been in there at the start.
Yeah, no, you are
like
right.
it was weird when they launched Mario Kart 8 that I went, I wonder why they've removed battle mode. It's almost like they're planning something, and it's like, oh, of course they did.
It was in there. It was just like it just used the normal tracks rather than battle mode tracks.
On the Nintendo website, it's listed as one of the 4 launch games, and it's £50 on the Nintendo website, and it's basically the same game you played with DLC that you've already got and with a few little extra bits in the battle mode. That's super disappointing. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't write it off just yet though, because you know what Nintendo's like to have like sudden directs and other stuff like that. It could be like Mario Kart Direct, and they reveal more.
I mean, yeah, this is their way of getting almost all Nintendo franchises into it. I mean, they've already got Splatoon into it. If they don't put Pokemon in it, I'll be very surprised. This is a platform to add in so much more extra content, which I'm sure they will do. But at launch, it just seems a bit steep. Yeah.
It's a great game though, so can't complain too much. I'll probably buy it again I'm part of the problem though. Right, so I'm going to move on. Next up is FIFA. Whoa, FIFA. Although interestingly, based on the PS3 version, not the PS4 version.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Wow.
Yeah, they said it was like a classic air quotes special port for the Wii U version, which normally means crappier port.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the FIFA version's on. Although it's kind of interesting the politics behind it because this is the first time I don't think FIFA was on Wii U, so
No.
this is EA returning to the console a little bit, which is interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's FIFA.
Well, I mean, considering that Mario Kart 8 is an improved version, like it has a better resolution. So like the Wii U may not be as powerful as the PS4, but the Switch may not be as powerful as the PS4, but it's certainly closer than the Wii U ever was. It's weird they've gone for the PS3 version and not the PS4 version with a slight downgrade. I don't know.
Just the weirdest thing about it was like, they had the presenter on screen. He was basically trying to be like, I've always been Nintendo. My kid, his middle name is Luigi, eh? Which was so weird. Why would you? Oh, I don't know. I just had to say that because it was so bizarre that was one of his
weird.
pitches.
Yeah, it was quite strange. Okay, so next up we have Fire Emblem Warriors, which is another Warriors game.
Yeah,
you know how they go.
Yeah, I mean, Hyrule Warriors was actually way above and beyond what I thought. Like, it actually genuinely had real love for the Zelda franchise, and yeah, it was just full of like nice nods that if you're a fan of Zelda, you'd super enjoy. So if they can do the same thing for Fire Emblem, I'm excited for Fire Emblem fans to have that same kind of warmer feeling of like, oh, look at that, and all that nostalgia hits. But yeah, as you say, it's a Warriors game. It's going to be a Warriors game.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, though, the latest like set of Warriors games have been really good. Like Dragon Quest Heroes, I love that game. Like it's got that another layer of tactics to it because you can capture the enemies and then like put them out again, a bit like Pokemon. So it's kind of like tower defense as well. Like, I have a good time with it, so I'm sure Fire Emblem Warriors will be all right. Okay, so next one is the last one they showed on stage, which is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which I'm sure everyone went mental for.
So I'm probably the only gamer that's not that excited for it.
Oh God!
But it looks. I mean, no. Don't get me wrong. The problem is, I'll tell you why. It's because it does look incredible. It's awesome. I'm probably gonna get it on the Wii U, but I'm just not a massive Zelda fan. I like Zelda, but then I think Zelda fans are one of these weird group of fans that act as though they're really hard done by, but actually they're really well like catered for. Like I've not played Twilight Princess, I've not played Wind Waker, and I've only played a little bit of Skyward Sword. And there's quite a lot of Zelda games have actually come out in the last 10 years. Even like Spirit Tracks and I don't know, Oracle of Ages or whatever those other ones are called for the 3DS and stuff like that. There was the one where there was like 3 of them where you could stack them on top of each other and stuff.
Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, that one. So there's actually quite a lot of Zelda games, and it looks absolutely awesome. But every time I look at it, me and the Zelda series don't really get along. I always see it and go, oh man, that looks awesome. I should definitely buy it. Everyone's giving it rave reviews, and it always just passes me by. So it's not a system seller for me personally. But I know that people go ecstatic for it, and that's great. And it does look beautiful. So
yeah,
thumbs up for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to playing it on my Wii U. So yeah, that's all I can say about it. Like. The game looks gorgeous, and for one time, like they released a load of screenshots for it yesterday. And it's like the one time, like in the last, I can't remember how long, where I actually looked at screenshots. Usually, I just don't even bother. But like the game looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to play it. And with every trailer, it looks more compelling. But it's a Switch title, which is also on the Wii U, so
yeah,
it devalues it a lot for the launch.
Yeah, and I think it's a sort of game. It's really cool to have like. Even though it's been ported across, it's good to have it as a launch title, but it's not it's not the sort of title I think unless you're really into the series, you're going to go, oh my god, I'm going to buy a Switch to play this game. It's you're going to buy the Switch and you're going to buy Zelda because it's pretty much the best game that's on offer for it. But I think it's not exactly oh my god, I have to buy the console for this.
Did any of you guys see the trailer in English with the English voice acting?
I think they put it on at the end of the presentation, but like a few minutes after. But yeah, I didn't watch it all because I'm worried about spoilers. But
okay.
I know that they did do it.
Yeah, the voice acting is actually quite good. It's quite cool. I liked it. I mean, I was watching it with my girlfriend. She's a big Zelda fan. She didn't like it because she was like, it's too different. But fool her. I thought it was amazing. I mean, it's the first Zelda game that I've ever wanted. Like, I've played most of them, haven't finished any of them. This is the first one that I really actually like. I might buy day one, but for the Wii U, obviously, not mental. But yeah, the English voice acting was actually pretty good. So yeah, is that it? Is everyone Zelda happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that far. I thought we'd all be like absolutely buzzing for it, but apparently not. Okay, so I'm going to move on now to games that they either touched on the show or only appeared afterwards on the Nintendo channel. First up is the Street Fighter 2 Ultra Edition. So this appeared first in the montage, and it looked as if it was going to be a HD remix hack, like a port. But it's turned out people that have played it said it's actually like a new version. It's like a sideways version. So it's got a lot of stuff from HD remix missing, but it has a lot of new stuff as well. It's currently listed as $40 in America, which is based on the Japanese price, which apparently is more expensive. I don't know. It probably is going to be like 30 quid, 40 quid when it comes out in England. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it, but I think it's going to get a port, so I'm just going to wait.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the kind of thing that would easily get switched onto the PlayStation, be put onto the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One as well, like maybe a few months after. I mean, it looked fun and interesting, but I don't know how much. I mean, I'm not a Street Fighter diehard like Ollie, so I didn't really get me that much.
Yeah, it's not going to be the next big game, but it looks like if it's 20 quid, it looks worth it, basically.
There's two things about it that I kind of laughed at, which I feel bad from, is that it's got all the HD graphics and stuff like that, which look really nice. But the problem is they have to build it on top of the actual animation sprites of the original Street Fighter 2. So they must go up to his artist, who's really really talented, and say, right, you get to draw like Sagat in like ultra high definition. He's like, yeah, awesome. Problem is you only got 4 frames to work with when he's jumping. So it's really weird because it looks, and I think that's why the HD version of it looks a bit weird, because it's like really really pretty, but the animations are like really really static. So because they can't change that, 'cause if they change that, then it's going to be changing the mechanics of the whole game.
Yeah, definitely.
So that looks a bit weird. But the other one made me burst out laughing because I didn't even know if he was a real character. But when they announced the 2 extra ones were Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, which is just hilarious to me. I was like, Violent Ken? That's ridiculous.
Violent Ken was created by SNK, so you can kind of see they have like King of Fighters. If anyone's familiar with that, they have like Violent Iori and like all of these like really edgelordy characters. They created Violent Ken for their game, and then he's just kind of come over because I guess I was struggling for characters, so just brought him in.
It just kind of also bothers me when it's like everyone's like, 2 additional characters, and they are additional characters, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just slightly tweaks of it. It's like saying like a racing game with 5,000 cars, but counting every different color as a new car.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's a bit like, it's Violent Ken, and here comes like Moody Ken, and here comes Sleepy Ken as well.
Sleepy Ken. Oh,
I
God,
think I'd quite like to see a spin-off in the future of some of the characters from ARMS living with Violent Ken, just see how they get on at home.
Well, I'm going to get it for PS4 purely because I like Street Fighter 2, and at the moment, if I want to play it, I can't because I don't have a version of it. I don't really care about the new characters. I mean, I'll probably play around with them, but they're more or less the same as Ken and Roy with slight tweaks. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get it. So, moving on from that, we have Bomberman R. Did anyone see that?
50 quid on game. 50 quid on game.
50 quid. Mate, I'm a big Bomberman fan, and I wouldn't fucking pay that. That's a joke.
I love Bomberman, but over the years, the different versions of it that have been released, it's for some reason to me become synonymous with being a bit tacky and crap. I mean, it's because they've done so many ports that have been bad.
Yeah.
But
the Bomberman PS3 Xbox 360 version, Bomberman Live, that was really good, just because it had 8-player online, which was like awesome. And this one is going to have 8-player local.
Do you remember when they did Bomberman? Like they tried to reboot it with like real human men.
Zero, yeah. Bomberman Act Zero. Yeah, you're like in a prison, you have to escape, and you're like running around them. Oh,
yeah.
No way, that's real. Holy shit.
It was on 360, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, Bomberman R looks cool. It's got co-op story mode as well. I mean, I'd get it if it was 15 quid, but not for 50 quid. That's ridiculous. Okay, so next up we have Sonic Mania. We have an expert. Yeah, we have an expert with us.
I mean, well, there wasn't really much else to say about it because it's the same trailer that was that they showed a couple of months ago. And I think it was pretty obvious it was always going to come to the Switch. So it looks.
Yeah.
Apparently, the hands-on reviews are that it plays like a proper old school Sonic game. So that's really promising.
And the trailer's good. It's still not a trailer, but
trailer's really good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's got Christian Whitehead involved, so he's done all the remakes for the App Store. Really good. Yes, I mean and obviously you've got it's a bit weird, as I professed a few months ago, I'm not a massive fan of deliberately retro graphics, but I'm not really sure what you can do with Sonic after the last 20 years of trying everything to bring to advance it. I think actually taking it back to where it was is probably Sega finally putting their hands up and going, actually, do you know what, we can't do much more with this. We're gonna have to stick to Mega Drive graphics. That's it.
Fair enough. A little bit off topic, but what do you think of the iOS Sonic games? Because I personally think that they're the best versions.
Oh yeah, I think they're really good ports, and it's all the little touches like Sonic 2 having the extra level put back in, hidden away. You got all the newer mechanics, so the spin dash in Sonic 1. I think they're really good, and it's sort of weird that it took someone that wasn't Sega to actually go there and do that when it seemed such an obvious thing to have done.
Yeah, widescreen as well. It looks amazing.
Yeah, no, really good, and proper love letters to the series with all the Japanese artwork and music. Really nice.
Yeah, great. Guys, did you guys want to say anything about Sonic Mania?
What's its unique selling point? Because from what I've seen of it, it really is just a level pack for Sonic 2 with like a bit better graphics, stuff like that. Is there anything I'm missing about it?
It's a good Sonic game. That's its unique selling point.
Fair enough. Sold.
I'm glad you made that joke, because I feel harsh if I did it.
Yeah, no, right, fair enough. Let's move on. Next up, we have Puyo Puyo versus Tetris.
Didn't this come out on like the PS4 like a year or something back?
Yeah, in Japan.
So
Japan exclusive.
I mean, there was a lot of love for it then. So it's like a nice mashup of the two. So I'm super happy it's come over, and there's an easy way to play it. I don't think there's anything more you can say about it than that.
Well, it's got quite a cool mode that I saw, which was you play Puyo Puyo versus each other, which is like a colour matching game, and there's a timer at the top of the screen, and when the timer drops to 0, both of your sides change to Tetris, but the game carries on, and then it drains again, changes back to Puyo Puyo, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, that's it really.
I think it looks like one of those games that, so Nintendo are saying that the Switch isn't going to replace the 3DS, but to me that's the sort of game that would not exist on the Switch if they had solid plans for a handheld follow-up. To me, like watching it, I was a bit like, this does not strike me as a home console. It's sort of, I think it's sort of you look at games like that and you think, the 3DS is sort of, it doesn't have a replacement coming anytime soon when you've got games like that coming out.
But there wasn't really anything else they showed that could be a 3DS game, or like looked like it started life as a 3DS game. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't really anything that made me think it's going to replace the 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, there was no signs of any Pokemon stuff as well, which I was quite surprised with. We didn't get a Pokken thing moved over. We didn't get anything about Pokemon Stars. Nothing.
Okay, so the last game I have on my list is Snipper. I think it's called Snipper Clips.
Yeah.
Does anyone see this? I think this could be the best secret game of the presentation. Go on.
I have thoughts on this because this game already existed in a form called Friendshapes about 2 years ago. It was an indie developer, because I actually reached out to him asking if he needed any testing work on it. It was called Friendshapes, and it was going to be on Steam, and it was just a little indie game. So I was really surprised when I saw this again, and it looks like Nintendo swooped in and bought it and have now taken over Friendships and calling it Snipper Clips.
Yeah, it's first party as well, so it's literally like there.
Yeah. So that's weird. So fair play to the indie developer, because he must have made a bit of money out of it.
Yeah, I mean, this appeared on the Treehouse stream that was on afterwards that I watched all day, and it was actually like the Treehouse stream itself was really good because the guy that was presenting it wasn't like over enthusiastic or an idiot like they normally are. He was like quite a cool guy, and this game was absolutely brilliant. Did you guys see it?
It's really good.
If
you guys haven't seen it, imagine like two kind of two little people that are made out of shapes. But what you can do is you can overlay on top of each other, like in Photoshop or something, and you can cut out bits of each other. So let's say you're two squares and you're trying to jump onto, I don't know, another bit or something like that. You can like cut steps out of each other and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's literally
So you have
it.
Yes, you have to like work together to make shapes that will help you get over the problem you're in. Like, say you're trying to get through a small gap, one of you can cut the other one in half, and then like they can fit through and press the button to let the other one through and stuff like that. It's very cool.
I'm always up for new games which are cooperative and actually have you working together as opposed to cooperative doing the same kind of thing in the same environment. So stuff like that I think is great. So like a puzzle game which is co-op like that sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
it
nothing
also-
else, when the Nintendo theme parks open, if they want to put a hair salon in there, they've got a name for it.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend going and watching, especially the Treehouse stream. Like, it's hilarious. It's so funny because like the other thing that's quite weird is it has a weird like, I don't want to say sexual mood to it, but there's a boy and a girl,
You said it.
and they're like, well, I've said it, but they're like rubbing up against each other and like they're like biting their lips and like it's so weird. And then there's a stage where they have to pop balloons, and I was like, this must just be a coincidence. But on the balloons, they've got birds and bees as like the little balloon pictures, and I was like, oh come on, what are you doing here? Because it's a bit where one of them's trying to carve the head of the other one, and he's like squatting on his head. And she's like crouched down, like biting her lip, like, and the other guy's like blushing. It's so good. Like, I was in hysterics watching it. It was great. Right, so yeah, that's all I have for the game list. Does anyone else have any other games I want to add before we move on to the controllers?
The only thing to add was Suda came out and he did the most amazing like jump like rah, like into the presentation, which was hilarious. But like Travis Touchdown's coming to, and obviously the guy from main protagonist from No More Heroes, and he's coming in some shape or form to the Switch, and he says something about it being a wrestling game as well. So God only knows what Suda's going to make. But I thought it was just interesting that it came up because obviously that's a beloved kind of Wii franchise. So it's nice to see that come back.
It was quite weird to have the developers come out and say, "Oh, we've got games coming," but like not name them or.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird to see Skylanders Imaginators because I thought that franchise was basically dying and they were going to can it. So then I was like, hey guys, we're doing Skylanders a bit more. Please buy more figures. And it's a bit like, I thought that was dying. So that was interesting to me.
And Just Dance 2017. I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
That was the only thing that I actually want to say to it was is it the first game that's been developed simultaneously for 3 generations of one console? Because it's there's a Wii version, there's a Wii U version, and there's a Switch version.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it might.
Because I can't think of any other games that have been developed for three generations of one console.
No, maybe one of the FIFA games.
I know FIFA was on. I wouldn't be surprised if FIFA has managed to appear on a PS2, a PS3, and a PS4 at the same time. Because Brazil still buy PS2s, like they love them.
Actually, this is a good time, Craig, for your launch.
Oh, my rant about the launch titles. Okay, so the thing that's really annoyed me, well, besides a lot of the other stuff, is 4 launch day titles. So I just think 4. That's so compared to the PS4 launched with 12 titles on day one. The Wii U launched with 23 apparently, and the Xbox One launched with 15. So. Yeah. And the Switch is launching with 4, one of which is Legend of Zelda, which is on the Wii U. And I just think, I'd say the other one is Just Dance, you've got Skylanders, and
Switch?
1-2 Switch.
Yeah. Pretty weak lineup. But I mean, the Wii U launched with 23, but then they didn't release any others. So it's kind of like, would you rather they did that, or would you rather they kind of paced it out over the year? Because like by showing Mario that's coming out at Christmas, they've almost kind of said like, that's it for the year.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
And it's so when, and also you have to think. I say Mario probably. I'm sure they won't miss that release window. But how many years ago did we see Breath of the Wild and it's like, yeah, it's coming next year. Oh no, it's going to be next year. Actually, it's going to be the year after. So I think it's just a dangerous territory to launch with so few titles and pin all your hopes in them, everything meeting its target for the rest of the year. Because if Mario slips into next year or something, they literally are relying on people rebuying Mario Kart or buying another edition of Splatoon, and I just think 4 titles is shockingly poor. I think I must be one of the smallest, if not the smallest, day one release roster.
So it reminds me of old school Nintendo because the only one I can remember that was very small, GameCube had about 12. maybe a bit more. The only one I remember being tiny was the N64. I'm pretty sure that only launched with like 6 games, but Mario 64 was one of them. I'm just quickly looking up. Yeah, so in Europe, the N64 launched with 6 titles: FIFA, Pilot Wings, Star Wars, Mario, Turok, and Hockey. And I remember that being, at the time, people were like, wow, that's really, really small amount of games. So, yeah, it feels like almost like an old Nintendo launch of like, yeah, but 4 is ridiculously low. Or I think, 4 I think it is.
And that's being generous, calling Just Dance a game. So yeah, it's literally. I just think I think it's really dangerous, particularly because. So I don't know if anyone's going to talk about it, but it's not like they're launching against 2 other consoles who are also in their early days. They're launching against PS4 and Xbox One that have got so many killer titles coming out this year, and I'm not expecting, that it always takes time for consoles to build up, but I think trying to launch a console against two other consoles that are massively in their prime at the moment is, with so few titles, is a big mistake.
Yeah, no, certainly, because I mean, obviously those titles have been out for ages, and Nintendo are betting on the whole, we're Nintendo, we're different, but for that same amount of money, you could easily get like a PS4 Slim or something like that, and then you're already off to the races, and there's no pack-in game, so you're going to have to buy a game with it, which is going to be, 50-60 quid. So before you know where you are, I mean, the money adds up very fast, and you can get a lot better value on the other consoles. So yeah, I think they're betting largely on them being Nintendo, them being different.
But do you think as well, just to play devil's advocate a bit, do you think this is a console that maybe we're missing the point because it's not aimed at us? Like, I was watching earlier today the parental control video.
Oh, I would, yes.
And I was very, very... Well, I don't know what you guys thought. I was actually really impressed. I was like, because basically, if you guys haven't seen it, you can download an app for your phone where you can monitor what your child is playing, what games they're playing, and you can also set time limits on it based on each day. You can set a time limit if you're allowed to play 1 hour on a Monday, half hour on a Tuesday, and you can even disable the system if they've gone over that limit. So if they go over an hour, they get a little warning in the corner, which would be really annoying if you're like first place on the last lap of Mario and it's like you've got 2 minutes left, and it will cut it off. And that got me really thinking, because I was a bit like, well, maybe this console really isn't aimed at me. And I'm starting to think, would 12-year-old or 8-year-old me be going ecstatic for this? And a little part of me thinks that 1-2 Switch and Skylanders and Just Dance and Zelda, I'm a bit like, actually, I probably would get quite excited for this.
Yeah. And being able to take it to school and like split your controllers off and play 2-player at lunch. Oh, God, I would love that.
I mean, that makes the branding of it even weirder, because every advert they've seen so far has got like a 20-something, 30-something-year-old person, and now they want to market it for kids as well. Like, it just means that they seem even more clueless if that's what they're doing.
I mean, the parental controls video is actually probably my favourite thing. It's a really funny video, like with Bowser using his parental controls. But I think I was just like, the selling point of it towards the end is like, oh, well, you can see what your kid's been playing, then it gives you something to talk about with them. Yeah. And I was like, how?
Oh God!
Like, literally, if you know what your child's playing, then it can literally. And I was just like, how like, what is going on in Japan that means parents have to record what's going on? Like, are we that like engrossed in our own worlds that we need to monitor what we're all doing so that we have something to talk about? I was just like, it's so patronizing.
It was really weird. It was a bit where there's a bit where we know that playing video games can cause friction in your household, and Bowser throws a fireball in the air. It's like, what the hell, Nintendo? You're openly saying well, our console's a bit like crack for your kids.
There's got to be some ancillary uses for that. Like, I could check up on my girlfriend with that. I'd be like, who's Mario? Who's Mario, mate? Yeah.
She's playing Mario Kart with some guy called Hot Dude 48. You're like, who's this guy?
I just think it's really, it just seemed a bit, I totally get it. It's like they're trying to go smartphone and use apps, but the Wii used to record what you did on the console anyway, so you could go through the log and see who'd been playing what. It's just something weird about having monitoring what someone's doing on your phone on the console. I was a bit like, what are they actually trying to? What are they trying to do? I totally trust what my kid is doing. So and what are they going to be doing on a Switch? It's not like they've got the same online access as PS4 and Xbox where you've got microphones and stuff. I don't understand what you're actually going to be able to do that's inappropriate on the Switch.
Got to get creative, mate.
It does make me think as well, because I don't know what you guys are like, but sometimes I'll go to like restaurants like Frankie and Benny's or Pizza Express, or when I'm feeling a bit like common, and like I will see like I will see kids like sitting at tables with their parents, and they've got an iPad and they're playing Minecraft or they're playing Mario Run, and it has become a bit of a like just play your iPad for a little bit while. So there's a part of me that thinks these sort of like 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds I'm seeing playing iPads, playing these games, and it is scary. Like, you can see 4-year-olds playing iPads, and I'm not against that. I think it's fucking awesome. But like, it's just amazing to me, because I would think, right, if I was a kid and I saw this Switch console, and I'm like, I could play Minecraft with my friends. We could sit around in the playground, get our little screens out, and start playing Minecraft together on our lunch break. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would definitely be pretty great. I would love that. When I was in high school, I mean, seeing as though we're already talking about it, we may as well go into the phone app integration. So there's the online app that you use to do party chat and set up invites and stuff like that.
I didn't get this. I didn't understand it.
Yeah,
No,
so basically you use
didn't
your...
understand this.
If anyone's used Spotify on PS4, basically you just use your phone to control the music. Or if you think about Jackbox,
Yeah.
use your phone to kind of... Which actually, I don't mind, because like my phone is really good it's a good UI for doing stuff like that. Better than pausing the game and trying to do it with the D-pad and stuff like that. I'd rather do it on my phone.
I agree. The amount of times I've played like Grand Theft Auto 5 and it's been a confusing mess trying to get into a game, I'm all for that. But I guess this is why people are complaining about the price of it, because they're saying, why wouldn't I just use Skype, I guess?
Well, yeah, but I mean, even so, you'd have to pay for the online anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
It comes with the online. You get the app when you buy the online. You don't have to pay again. It's included. But still.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it was actually pretty cool. What was the other thing I was going to say? No. Oh yeah, paid online. It's paid online now. How much do you think it's...
I really don't know how I feel about this. I mean, obviously, it's, we're used to consoles doing it, but as someone who ducked out with a PS3 with the console market, I still have never paid for online. And to do it for Nintendo, where most of the fun that I think I've had with Nintendo games in the past is playing single-player experiences or maybe local split screen, I don't know if I'd want to pay for online multiplayer, because I think the only game that I've had that's been super fun in the last few years is Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon. And
Yeah.
I don't know if paying just to play 2 games online for a year is really what I want to do.
Yeah, you also get the free game for that month.
Yeah, for the month. Can we
For
just
that
yeah.
month,
Like, what's that all about? Like,
Yeah.
so it's not like, so you're paying for a subscription and they're offering you a game for a month and you can play it, and then you have to pay for it. Like, I say, that already puts them at a completely different level to PS Plus is really good that you get the game, and as long as you've got a PS Plus subscription, you can play the game, and they give us away some decent stuff. But it's not. Like, how many times have they resold the same games over again? Because you can't transfer your virtual console purchases from one console to another, so you have to buy them again anyway. It's like, how many times are they going to charge for the same game?
Yeah. And apparently the free games they're giving away are going to be like SNES and NES games, which maybe last. Like, hey guys, Goof Troop for a month. Woo, get in. Just like,
It's not going to be that, man. It's going to be like Urban Champion.
Yeah. And the thing is, okay, I don't promote piracy or anything like that, but I could probably within a couple of seconds go into Google, type in like online SNES emulator, and play any SNES game I want. Like, it's not a big selling point to me to say, oh, it's on the console now and I can play it again. So yeah, it's a bit weak. I don't know. I'm not really that bothered.
Mate, and especially because they just released that little NES at Christmas, which has loads of old games in it anyway. So if you've bought that, then this doesn't really mean anything at all, unless you want to get the SNES games, and then, like you said, emulators.
But this is, again, maybe why I don't know, maybe I'm just bitter and an old man or something. But like that NES thing, which I got to admit does look pretty cool. It's got 30 games on, blah, blah, blah. It sold really well for something that I was like, oh, you could probably just like get an emulator or something. And maybe I just missed the point of it. But I was amazed. The Nintendo seem to get this better than I do. They make stuff that I think that's never going to sell, and it does phenomenally well. And I'm like, how do they do this?
Well, they don't do it that well because it was so scarce. They've made such few numbers of it.
That's true.
Cool. Okay, let's go back then to the controllers, the Joy-Cons.
Mate, I want to say that the little Joy-Cons that you slip off, they seem horrible to play with. This person was talking about how, like, if you get the one on the left, then your analog stick's in the right place and your face buttons are in the right place, And yeah, the normal shoulder buttons are fiddly, but at least it kind of makes sense. If you get one on the right-hand side, that stick is basically in the middle of the actual thing. So you're holding it and then you're putting your thumb in the middle, which apparently is incredibly uncomfortable. So I just don't think they've considered that people want to use both of them. I mean, it literally will only be kids in like the playground. Otherwise, you'd be like, well, I suppose I'm going to have to buy another controller because this is far too comfortable. And they've got the slidable grips in, which you need. Otherwise, it's going to be so uncomfortable to press those shoulder buttons. You wouldn't want to do it for a prolonged period of time. Plus, I saw this picture, and I think this was the case, but I'm not entirely sure. But they had 4 like people playing like Mario Kart on their like 4 different systems, but all of them were split screen. You'd think the one bonus you could get is you have your whole screen.
Yeah, I think that was
but
a
no,
mistake.
instead you got a little like section
I
of it.
think that was an error. I don't think that's. I think they literally said to their freelancer like, "Oh, can you put this picture on? Can you put a picture on these 4 screens?" And he just chose the wrong one. I
hope that's the case.
Yeah, because that's ridiculous. Yeah, that must just be a bad Photoshop because it's not a real photo. Like, there's no way that those screens are on and they're actually taking a picture of it. It's been photoshopped. I think the little controllers with the strap add-on, which makes the controller a bit bigger, I think that's actually looks okay. I wouldn't want to use it all the time, but it looks all right.
Yeah.
But apparently the actual controller with the big waffle square on it is really comfortable.
Yeah, I'd also heard that. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Like, the basis of the grip almost looks like a bit GameCube controller, like the way it bends round. But yeah, that looks quite good. And the actual like Pro controller as well, it's got the 360 one stick up, one stick down kind of configuration, as opposed to the last one, which had 2 sticks up the top for the Wii U. It feels a bit more solid apparently as well.
Nice, fair enough. Does anyone else? Oh, actually, HD vibration. Let's talk about that. Could be a game changer, or not. If you're not into it. I think it sounds pretty amazing. I can't think of a good use for it.
Was this the demo in the video where the guy started putting ice cubes in a glass?
Yeah.
And he like filled it. He filled it with water. He went, "You can even feel the water going in." I was like, "Can you?" And he was like, "It gets heavier." And I was like, "Does it?"
No.
But I'm kind of all for it because I don't think, Rumble force feedback and stuff has not really done much in the 20 years that it's been added in the Rumble packs on the 64s. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool, I guess, to see stuff. And it's kind of weird, like, I don't know if you guys got PlayStation 4s, but it's a bit mental now because, like, my one, you start getting chased by the police and the controller's flashing, like, red and blue and lighting up my whole living room that looks like I'm having a police raids going on. And it's like, and sometimes you'd be like, I remember when, like people couldn't speak to you on the phone through the controller and stuff like that. And it's all really cool. But yeah, the vibration stuff has kind of hit a bit of a not done much for a while. But I don't know, like, I can't think of many game mechanics. I guess if you're holding it and if you're facing in the right direction, the direction of the vibration is indicating it to you. And maybe if it vibrates to the left, the finger looking forwards to the left or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, good, interesting. See what it does, really.
I think the limitation is always going to be, especially games with like 1-2 switch, is as was the problem with the Wii, is that you don't get besides the rumble, you don't get any physical feedback. So if it's like it's really hard to. So if you're hitting something, you don't get that physical that feedback that you would get if you were doing it in real life. So I'm not sure that there's much more you can do with it without actually being able to simulate physical feedback.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good the rumble is, I'm not. I think there's always going to be a limitation to it because you're only going to be able to ever be simulating one side of it. You're never going to be able to simulate what the thing that you're supposed to be hitting or the thing that you're doing with it. Unless it's milking udders, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, it can't be as good as they said it is. It can't. There's no way.
And the thing that gets me is, like, they only focus on the rumble and the Joy-Con grips, which would make sense that it's only in the Joy-Con grip. So how does that feel when it's in, like, the chargeable controller? And does the Pro controller have anything like that? Because you're sitting at home, presumably you want to play with a more comfortable controller, so you can use the chargeable controller or the Pro controller, most likely.
I've
they've
heard
not
the
got that
Pro
rumble in
controller.
it.
The Pro controller has it in the chargeable.
Oh, it does. I mean, that's quite cool then.
Yeah. But the thing is, as well, is the grip that you get, the waffle grip. It's not the one that you can charge. That comes with it. You have to buy that separately.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's 2 different waffle grips. One that's got the 4 lights on it that we talked about in the first podcast, and the one that doesn't. And the one that doesn't is the one that comes with it. So the only way to charge the controllers is to click them to the console.
Oh. Whoa.
So you can't plug them into your grip and then plug the grip in because it doesn't have a port. It's just a plastic.
Yeah, I've been on game looking at like all the. And it's funny whenever you get a new console, suddenly all this like world of crappy accessories come on, like protection cases for everything. And yeah, it's a bit. I feel sorry again for kind of like if it's going for kids, it's a little bit like if I was a mum walking in and they're like, "Do you want a Joy-Con right or Joy-Con left, or do you want the Joy-Con grip, or do you want both the Joy-Cons together?" Like they're selling them all separately, and now they've added in an extra one where you can buy the Joy-Con strap. So I don't know. I still do think that it's. From what I've read, people are like, "Oh yeah, it all actually works really nicely." But I can't help but feel it's going to be a bit weird if I just laid all out the parts of the Wii, the Switch in front of me. It's going to look like it's exploded because I've got my two Joy-Con straps, my two Joy-Con pads, the Joy-Con dock, and then I don't know, and it just something about it all makes me feel a bit like, oh god, there's going to be so much crap under my television.
Yeah.
And a Joy-Con left and a Joy-Con right with like the little like wrist straps with like the extra shoulder groove. That costs £70.
Yeah.
What?
It's
That
technically
costs £70 on the Nintendo website.
It's technically two controllers, though. I guess that's what they're pitching it as. But it does still feel like a lot of money for like two little bits of plastic controller. But yeah.
Well, I think most people tend to have two controllers for their system, and it
Yeah.
comes with two, so that's good. Because like, say I was going to play like PS4 with Craig, I would take my own two controllers to his house.
Yeah.
Because I've never asked, but I assume Craig's only got two PlayStation controllers.
I have.
that right?
I have two. I have
Yes,
two.
everyone only has two, so it makes sense to have two that come with the system. So I
That's
guess.
because my PS4's only got two USB slots to charge them in, so there's no point in me having more because I'd just be constantly rotating.
Yeah, I actually rotate two, so.
It does also mean that all of my Wii remotes and Wii remote steering wheels that I've got are all, which is fine. I've had them for about 10 years, but they're all finally going to be redundant. But then again, I said that about the GameCube controller, and that came back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know if it uses the same Bluetooth to connect. Maybe it does.
Oh, I mean, they could have done that, couldn't they? Have just let you use Wii remotes, but it probably would have got really confusing.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't have four face buttons, so you'd have to. Well, it does, but not. You have to.
Did you see the Joy-Con wheel?
Yeah.
Which looked like my Fisher Price first wheel. I can't. I'm a 30-year-old man, and I just I can't even look at holding that in my hands and watching people watch me play it because it literally looks like I'm playing with a child's toy.
So yeah, what comes with the actual console then? So the console, the dock, the cables, necessary cables, which is always good. The power lead is included, which is nice for Nintendo.
That surprises me, given that everything else is you have to buy extra. I'm surprised they're flogging the power lead in with it.
Yeah, exactly.
They could buy that separately.
So you get two Joy-Con straps, and do you get a Joy-Con controller? Like a clicker, what's it called? I don't know what it's called. Joy-Con pad? Does one of
What, the
those come with
dock
it?
thing that you slide it into?
Yeah, dock, that's it.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
But you get the non-charge version.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
You get
and that's coming... Oh, go on.
The Joy-Con grip is what you get.
Yes.
You don't get the Joy-Con charging grip.
Of course.
And I guess you'd also get your online, which means you'd get one free game. But it would be whatever the free game is for a month or something crap.
Ice
and
climbers.
Ice climbers, yeah. And you get all that for £280.
And then your 60 quid game on top of it, because
Yeah.
The price is okay, but it's a bit too. Maybe I'm just a bit cheap, but it's a little bit too much for me personally.
certainly if they're
Yeah.
going for the casual market, or clearly they are aiming more at getting some of those Wii deserters back on board. I think 280 quid. What's that? That's almost £100 more than the Wii.
Yeah, it is, yeah. £100 more. But I mean,
That's
the technology is mental. The technology is really powerful. If you consider you can play it in your hand, you can play like an almost PS4 game in your it's the size of a Wii U gamepad, but thinner. So it's actually portable. I wouldn't want to take it out, but
Yeah, and the thing that I thought was interesting is they've only got like one SKU basically, and there's nothing about how much internal space it's got, because usually we used to like consoles being like, oh, this is the 160 gig version and this is the 1 terabyte version. There's nothing about how much storage is in there.
It's 32 gig.
Yeah, they very
32 gig, is that it?
30. That is it.
They
yeah,
very
32 gig.
subtly like snuck that in at the end. Just a guy coughed and went 32 gigabytes, by the way, and then just carried on talking.
Mate, I'm literally looking on the Nintendo like store website, and I can't see hardly any mention of anything like that. Like I literally can't. I don't think it's written down how much space is on here.
Don't worry, like SNES games take up nothing. They could all fit on the back of like an envelope. So it's fine. You won't need
No, right,
32.
I'll be alright
Like,
for my monthly
if,
pass.
yeah, if you're if you're downloading like Donkey Kong Jr. each month, it's like, oof,
Yeah.
you've used up 0.4% of your space.
Well, I
think
know that
They're saying because it's using carts instead of discs, it probably won't need to use as much space as the
Yes.
PS4 and the Xbox One for installing.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
you
know
can save
that
onto the card, that makes sense, yeah.
if you download Zelda, it's 13.4 gigs. So that gives you an idea of how much.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
So it really is.
So assuming that the operating system takes up 4 gig, which I think is a fair enough assumption, that's 28 gigs usable. You put 2 games on there, 2 major console games.
Oh god!
Yeah. But it might take it. Does it take an SD card? Do we know?
Yeah,
It does, yeah.
All right. Well, I've already got one of those. So that's fair enough.
I didn't, unless I missed it as well. They didn't show much of like I don't know what you'd call it, like the infrastructure of the console, like what it looks like when you just turn it on and don't have a
Yeah,
game
no-
running.
Yeah,
And-
no home menu stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they went into it afterwards on the stream.
well, they're ditching Street Pass, and they're ditching Mii's or Miiverse. I don't think Mii's are
Yeah.
going to be present, which is interesting because Mario Kart 8 had Mii's present in the game, so it'll just be some random dude now playing. But yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. But if you guys know more information about what the home menu stuff looks
Yeah,
like.
I've seen it, and as far as I can tell, obviously as far as I can tell because they're pretty tight-lipped on it, the Mii's now exist on your phone. So when you connect your phone to the console, that's how you get your Mii. So you make your Mii on your phone in Miitomo, and then that's how it exists. Because if you sign in with it, you get a little picture of your Mii at the top, next to whatever game you're playing. So like that's how it shows, what's going on.
So
But yeah, they've completely cut it all out.
I'm okay with that stuff because when Fallout 4 came out, they had an app that went with it where you could have Pip-Boy on your iPad or your phone and stuff like that. And I at first laughed at it, then I started using it, and I was surprised actually at how brilliant it was to have this second screen where I could control stuff in the game.
Yeah, it is good. I'm all for it as well. But I mean, I'm just wondering if Nintendo are locking down your phone so that you pay more attention to their game. That's a bit conspiracy theory, but like, so you can't just go, oh, I'm going to go on Instagram for 10 minutes. You can't because you have to have the app open. I don't know.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I'm making it up. So what was everyone's overall impression of the actual show in the format?
I don't know. Part of it felt a bit kind of rushed and unrefined in the end. It felt very much like getting developers out to be like, hey, we're making a game. All I've got is a couple of screenshots. It felt, I don't know, it just didn't have the usual slick Nintendo polish to it. I think the device itself seems promising, but again, it's going to be something I get down the road because that launch lineup is super weak. So honestly, I came out of it actually less enthused for it than I thought, because to me, I'm someone who does have, like, I do use a handheld. I will use a 3DS. So the idea of having that, which I can take out and then also have at home, I was like super sold on that original premise. And it seems like everything since then has weakened me more and more. And I know that I'll get it eventually because I just love Nintendo titles, but it's very much, I think, going to be something I'll get down the line as opposed to straight away, which is a shame. But it looks intriguing what they're doing. And I do like the focus on portability. And the battery life isn't as bad as people think, because I know that me and Ollie were talking about this yesterday. The battery life on the 3DS was like, it varied quite similar kind of numbers of like 3 to like 8 hours or something for one of the, like the XL or something.
The official numbers I was made a note of this is the 3DS battery goes up to 5.5 hours, whereas the official numbers for the Switch is up to 6.5 hours, so it could potentially last longer than your 3DS.
Yeah, so I don't think that's as bad as made out, but yeah, I mean, it seems promising, but that's all I can really say so far. It seems promising, and their show yesterday didn't really do much to tempt me, but I do like the look of Mario Odyssey, and I'm glad that Splatoon is like one of the core Nintendo franchises now, because it's nice to see a new one getting some love. But yeah, that's about it really. I wish I was more positive, but
no, it's fine. Craig, what did you think of the show?
So I'm pretty the same. I think it feels like Nintendo have sort of, they said it's going to be out, and they did the show, and it's like, actually, do you know what? We're releasing it regardless, but we haven't actually got that much ready for it. It seems, so yeah, it felt a bit like, actually, who can we get out to big it up? But actually, we haven't actually got that much ready to go. So that I think that's I'd almost rather they just put their hands up and said, look, do you know what? We're not quite ready. We'll release it in October. whatever when we're ready to go. But they seem intent on that. We said it's going to be out, so it's going to be out. Despite the fact that they promised Zelda 3 years ago and they were quite happy to delay it time and time again, it's like now they suddenly just seem intent on, it's coming. It's coming in March, whether we're ready or not. It's coming. So I'm also less enthused than I was, but I've still pre-ordered it.
Yeah, well, you got to make sure just in case they change anything. You've got to, got to have your pre-order there. Jack, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts.
So I'm kind of like, so overall, I was disappointed with the lineup of games coming out, which is a shame. I still think the console looks very, very cool, and I'm really interested in it. And honestly, and I guess you guys would probably feel the same, is that I want, just for the sake of Nintendo, for it to be a massive success. Like, I want it to go really well for them, because I don't want to live in a world where Nintendo aren't making consoles. And it's kind of, as much as it's kind of like, oh, Just Dance and FIFA and stuff like that, at least I feel like at least Nintendo are always trying, because I'm very keen on gaming. I want it to keep pushing boundaries and things like that. And realistically, when you actually look at the Xbox One and PS4, very controversially, they're basically the same console. Like, my mum would not be able to tell you which one is which, but at least the Nintendo Switch is something very different. It's doing something very new, and for that reason, I really want it to succeed. Because if this fails, which it looks like after that launch, it could actually be like, oh god, Nintendo, hang in there. That would be really bad overall, because then we'd end up with just Microsoft and Sony making 4 years' time. We'll get another big box with bigger hardware, and it'll be pushing out FIFA 2025. So yeah, I'm disappointed with it initially. I really hope there's something I've missed, and that there are 8-year-olds out there that have got rich parents that are going to absolutely flood to buy this, because I think overall what Nintendo are trying to do is generally healthy for the games industry as a whole. And if they fail on this and they stop doing it, we're going to hit to the point of the gaming sort of lifespan where we're just hitting the kind of almost dull period of just the same old stuff coming around every 4 years.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. That's pretty hit the nail on the head, I think.
Bit deep. Hashtag deep.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Well, for myself, I think that the actual show itself, they had a good opportunity to do something other than a conference, because obviously a conference is an E3 thing. They could have done anything, but they decided to do a conference, which is fine. It's nitpicking. The translators probably could have used a script rather than trying to translate live, because obviously it's scripted. I don't know why they were doing that. Some of them were just like, especially the guy doing Suda 51's translation. He was just like, Travis Touchtown was what he called the guy. And he was like, yeah, that guy. Like, no idea what he was doing. In terms of the actual console, I think that, I don't know, internet, going online, going on NeoGAF, they're being overly harsh. It's not going to be a disaster, but it's not going to be some sort of amazing success either. I am going to get one, and I am excited for like the local multiplayer opportunities, because I play local multiplayer a lot, but I'm not going to get one until like October. It's not worth it at launch for me. But yeah, overall, I thought it was all right.
I think if it does replace the 3DS, I think that could be the saving grace. And obviously, no one really knows at the moment what they're going to do in terms of handhelds. But 3DS have been knocking around now for so long with no clue that they're going to do a follow-up. And I think when you start getting things like Pokemon on there, if that's the way they go, then that is going to ensure that it has some sort of longevity, because it's going to drive people towards it rather than splitting them towards from away from the Wii U. People still go for the 3DS. So I think if they go down that route, then that could be the saving grace for them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I thought we'd be more excited. I was pretty excited coming into this podcast, but now we go out the other side. But,
I mean, I'm still very excited for Mario. I'm still very excited for Zelda. But the thing is, Zelda is on the Wii U and Mario is down the line, so it's hard to get excited now. But I mean, like Craig was saying, if they could be a bit more kind of portable friendly as well, because there seemed like hardly any like little bite-sized games that you could play on the go. So I think if they kind of get into that kind of 3DS replacement zone as well as the console replacement zone, I think that could be super positive as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I'm not paying £60 for Pokemon.
Well, it might be like super enhanced. You don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. This is it. So Twitter names. Mine is at LLC Oliver. Gary.
At LLC Gaz.
Jack.
At AO, it's Jack.
With underscores.
With underscores, just to be difficult.
Yeah. Craig.
I'm at Craig Herman.
Yeah, cool, fair enough. I'd like to thank everyone for listening today, and also thank everyone that's downloaded the podcast because we somehow creeped up to like 625 downloads without me really noticing. So cheers for downloading. You can find us on the website, which is lastlifeclub.com, with Facebook, which is facebook.com/last life club. We're Instagram now as well.
Yeah,
So
Instagram.
loads of selfies on there, loving it. That's at Last Life Club, and Twitter, we're at Last Life Club as well. If you want to email us, that is podcast at Last Life Club, obviously. So yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for listening, and I will see you later. Bye everyone.
Take care.
Bye bye.